Well, this morning I'm speaking on the biology of belief. And my talk is in part based on the book by the same name by Bruce Lipton, by the biologist Bruce Lipton. And he says that it's not so much our genes that control our body and mind ultimately, but that it is our beliefs. I'm sorry, my computer did something funny. It is our beliefs that control our body and minds. It's not so much our genes, but it is our beliefs that control our body and minds. And so I've just been looking at how does that apply to how our body responds to, say, this COVID vaccine? How does that apply to how our body heals from knee surgery, which I know someone is doing? How does that apply to how our body overcomes whatever physical challenge we have at the moment? There's an old science view that sees life as this unending war among battling biochemical robots in our bodies. But there's a new biology that sees us as powerful individuals who can program ourselves to create joy-filled lives. Bruce Lipton says it's beyond nature versus nurture. It is greater than both. It is that the fully conscious mind trumps both nature and nurture. The fully conscious mind trumps both nature and nurture. And, that is what unity is about. That's what our spiritual journey is about, is exploring and cultivating the fully conscious mind. And there's always been this interesting tension between science and spirituality. In one extreme, you have, spiritual people that don't value science, religious people that don't value science. We've seen a little too much of that in recent times. But then on the other end of the spectrum, you have scientists that have no interest in spirituality. But with this recent growth of the field of quantum physics and the field of epigenetics, which I'll talk more about, and with the studies on the effect of consciousness on matter, how consciousness affects matter, we're realizing we need both. We need both. And so this talk today weaves together views from both spirituality and science. So let me begin with describing from a spiritual view, the effect of mind over matter. Mahatma Gandhi said, your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values. And your values become your destiny. It's powerful. He's saying, basically, our beliefs become our destiny. Our beliefs become our destiny. And Jesus, Master Jesus, said the same. It is done unto you as you believe. The Buddha said the same thing. What you think, you become. And of course, part of this you is your body, which I like to call my biological unit. Your body is inextricably affected by your thoughts. Excuse me. But Bruce Lipton states, there's a belief effect, which means that our perceptions, whether they're accurate or inaccurate, equally impact our behavior and our bodies. And he says, I celebrate the belief effect, which is an amazing testament to the healing ability of our body-mind. So let me give you a personal example of me using my beliefs, my thoughts to impact my body, my biology. I was scheduled to have my first Pfizer COVID vaccine this past Thursday. And, I scheduled that about a week before I went. And I spent the days before working on my belief about this vaccine. Because in the days leading up to it, to tell the truth, I noticed I felt some anxiety about getting it. And I realized it was mostly the fear in the atmosphere. People putting out a lot of fear about it, and conspiracy theories and people's doubts. It's just in the collective. So I ultimately did my research. I'm a big researcher. I read a lot of research, and I listened within to guidance, and I made up my own mind, deciding that getting the vaccine was the right thing for me. And I encourage you to find the right choice for you. You know, I highly encourage getting vaccinated, but I am not here to dictate. I am here to encourage. But what your mind believes about this is really important. By and large, the vaccines have been found to be safe, but it's important to spend conscious, intentional time with your mind. And my inner guidance said it was safe and effective. And so I made sure my every cell knew this. I affirmed often, this medicine will do exactly what it was made to do. It will instruct my immune system to create immunity to COVID. There will be no short or long-term effects, adverse effects. My body will mitigate and metabolize any substance that doesn't support my perfectly healthy biology, and I may even become immune to other cold viruses. Why not? Why not throw that in there? Our cells, our cells listen to our brain. They listen to what we think, and they believe everything we say. You can think of your cells like completely trusting children. And that is why we must hold beliefs that give our body a sense of well-being. Bruce Lipton, as a biologist, invites us to see the vibrating energy of our body as a nation. Think of yourself as a cooperative community of approximately 50 trillion single-celled citizens, and all listening to what you think and believing what you think. Your mind is directing a massive nation of citizens, all working together, producing this thing that you call you. We talk about God. What is God? God is omniscience. And what is omniscience? It is all-knowing. It is all-wise. It is vast, unlimited intelligence. We sometimes describe God as the genius of all genius. Well, when you look at the genius of our body, of 50 trillion cells working in harmony, working right now in your eardrums, in your eyes, and in your brain, so that you can make sense of these words I'm saying, so you can listen and you can see, your body and your mind is genius. God cannot be separated from your biology. God is your biology. Bruce Lipton writes, every material structure in the universe, including you and me, radiates a unique energy signature. Each one of us right now is radiating a unique energy signature. We name it Nancy, or we call it Shiloh, we call it Charlie, we call it Kathy. Albert Einstein, in his theory, energy equals matter times the speed of light squared. It sounds really complicated, but it's basically saying that energy and matter are interchangeable. And so where it gets really fun and creative is when we realize how much it is the energy of our thoughts that are shaping the matter of our body, and the energy of our thoughts that are shaping the matter of our life. This unity movement, that's why I love this unity movement, is because it is all about how we shape matter with our thoughts, with our beliefs. Charles Fillmore, he was particularly impressed by Jesus' mastery of mind over matter. And Fillmore focused especially on that message that Jesus wanted us to do the things he did, and to even do greater things if we would seek our source, stay aligned with that infinite divine mind, and use it to shape matter. That is how we make a heaven on this earth. That is how we make our life a heaven realm. It is done unto you as you believe. And what's really neat is we have scientific proof of this. I recently I read a Harvard research paper by Dr. Robert Schmerling, and he stated that the placebo effect is very real. And he wrote that the word placebo comes from the Latin and means I shall please. And please it does. In study after study, he says many people who take a placebo show improvement in their symptoms or their condition. And it even sometimes makes it hard to tell if a good medication is working because the placebo is working because of the mind. The mind believes it, right? So it is people's belief that something works or it doesn't work that has a huge effect on making it so. So that is why I choose to know without a doubt this vaccine is working, it's helpful, and it's harmless to my biology because we have tremendous power over our bodies. Our beliefs can make treatments effective. And, this applies, if you choose to go for chemotherapy, or radiation for cancer treatment. If you know in your thinking, in your belief system, it will work perfectly. It will be benign for your body. Bruce would say that your mind is having an equal effect on matter. He writes, I believe that medical education should train doctors to recognize the power of our internal resources. Doctors should not dismiss the power of the mind as something inferior to the power of chemicals or to the power of the scalpel. So we can think of our thoughts as the masters of directing energy, and they are most powerful when we are aligned with truth, with the ultimate truth. And the truth is, you are God. You are God. You are not separate from God, and so you have an unlimited ability to heal, to create, and to manifest this day exactly the way you want to manifest it. And now, if you know that, if you believe that, and there's not one iota of doubt in you, then praise God, because you are a powerful creator. The challenge, though, in this power to create and create our lives and create our health and well-being, the challenge lies in our subconscious programming. That's where we have doubts. That's where we have old beliefs and old behaviors that are not our friend, that need to be weeded out. And I can say to you, you are unlimited God who can create powerfully. But if your subconscious holds a belief that you're not good enough, you've got to uproot that. Okay, and that's where our work lies for most of us, to make sure our subconscious programming is not getting in the way of our God potential, our God expression. Bruce writes, cells, tissues, and organs do not question information sent by the nervous system. Rather, they respond with equal fervor to accurate life-affirming perceptions and to self-destructive misperceptions. So consequently, the nature of our perceptions greatly influence the fate of our lives. Our perceptions influence our lives and our health. Bruce says that the subconscious mind is more than 1,000,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind. He says neuroscience has established that the conscious mind runs about 5% of the show, and the subconscious shapes about 95% of our life experiences. And so then he goes on to describe 3 things that help change our subconscious. And they are hypnosis and practice and repetition over and over, practice and repetition over and over, and the newer fields of energy psychology. But I want to give you a little example of how I've been helping my sweet little Kyra reprogram her subconscious. Here's an example. I took Kyra camping last summer, and we were walking along a trail, right, around the lake, and we saw a snake, right? It was just a harmless little garter snake, common to this area. And I myself, I like snakes. I love snakes, and I know my snakes well. And I calmed her down, and I gently encouraged her to come back because she had run about 50 yards down the trail. And with her closer, I gently picked the snake up. I've handled a lot of snakes in my life. And it just took a matter of seconds for the snake to, relax and feel the warmth, and he could feel my calm and gentle energy, and he was calm. And Kyra calmed down. She came over and she just slowly reached out and she touched the snake, and she realized it was beautiful. It had an interesting texture, and it was not something to fear, not something to loathe. And so this experience was the beginning of new programming in her subconscious. And I hope to continue to help her deprogram the fears of some of the things that she has, that she fears in nature. And each time, each time the repetition of a new experience that changes the old pattern, the old belief helps. So in the future, I hope we see, more snakes, the safe kind, the non-poisonous kind. And, she can change her biology so that she responds differently, to her belief when she sees a snake, because she believes snakes are beautiful and wonderful and amazing, you know. Of course, that she remembers that some snakes are dangerous, but, some are harmless and beautiful to hang out with. So I want to share with you, we talk a lot about the subconscious is where we need to do the work, but I often don't have time to go into how exactly we do that. It's more like a workshop thing. But I want to give you one practice today because I really think this is helpful. And it's from Joe Dispenza. He has great teachings on how we work with our subconscious and change patterns. So I just want to share one particular practice. He talks about this way we reprogram our subconscious. He says meditation is important because we want to get into a meditative state because it changes the brain waves from basically from the beta waves to the alpha waves, and it puts us in a state similar to hypnosis, which is one of the most effective ways to change our subconscious. So he advises that we meditate, we get in that relaxed state of mind, and then we move into these 3 steps. The first step is recognizing our unwanted feeling. I mean, just think about your day, and think about your life. Is there an unwanted feeling that you have often that just seems to recur, You want to get in touch with that. So say, for instance, you have a recurring habit of becoming angry. And this habit of becoming angry has caused you a lot of trouble in your life, in your relationships. So you recognize this unwanted feeling. And then you ask yourself, how do I think when I feel this way? If it's anger, ask yourself, what is my attitude when I'm feeling anger? The answer might be, my attitude is controlling, or my attitude is hateful, or it might be self-important. If fear is the unwanted feeling, that's one that I work with more. If fear is the unwanted feeling, then examine your state of mind when you're feeling fear. What is your state of mind doing? You might be feeling overwhelmed. You might be feeling anxious, or you might be feeling desperate. You might be feeling exhausted. So you examine, okay, my common unwanted feeling that I have often is anger, and the state of mind that goes with it is controlling. So next, you become aware of what you're thinking when you're in this unwanted feeling and you're in this attitude. So you examine, okay, what are my thoughts when I'm in this state? And maybe what you're thinking is, I'm being judged. Or maybe what you're thinking is, I'm being belittled. Or maybe what you're thinking is, you're inadequate. Okay? So Joe suggests doing a writing exercise, okay, with this. You write the unwanted feeling that keeps coming up. Say it's anger. It might be shame. It might be guilt. It might be feeling not good enough, okay? And then you write the corresponding state of mind, that you're thinking you're being criticized or belittled. The next step he describes is to allow yourself to be vulnerable and to admit to your true self, to the God of your being, how you've been, and what you want to change about yourself. Basically, what you've been hiding. And Joe says that what makes that step possible is that we're admitting our faults to a higher power and not to another similarly flawed human being. And so there's no judgment, there's no blame, there's no rejection, there's no loss of love, there's no punishment. There's only that unconditional love I was describing in our meditation. And this is what we offer this admission to. So maybe we say, it's good to say it out loud, it's good to write it. Maybe we say, I felt like a failure most of my life, and so I try extra hard to be a success, and I get so angry when I feel judged or criticized. It's good to speak it out loud. You might say, I've been an angry person my whole life. You declare what is limiting you. And then finally, the last step is surrendering and yielding to that greater power, to allow it to resolve your limitations and blocks. We give it to God. We let go and let God. And we say, Thy will be done. Thy will be done. Take this from me. Take this burden from me. Take this subconscious program that causes suffering. And we offer that with humility, with trust, and with sincerity. And we know that thy will is for us to be free of limitations. Thy will is for us to express without any of those unwanted feelings blocking us or stopping us. And so let yourself feel joy in that. Let yourself really feel and trust that your prayer is already heard, that it is already answered. And so finally, Joe says you might want to write a surrender statement. And an example, a beautiful example might be, universal mind within me. I forgive my anxieties and my small-minded concerns. I give them to you. I trust that you have the mind to resolve them much better than I could. I release all my suffering to you. I allow you to provide a greater life for me now. Thank you, Spirit. So in closing, I just invite you to reflect on the biology of beliefs. Think about your 50 trillion cells and think about the thoughts that you send to those 50 trillion cells every day. Do you tell your cells they are well? Do you tell your cells they are genius? Do you tell them they are strong? Do you tell them they are healing, that they are perfect and powerful? Become more mindful, and more mindful of your thoughts and the effect that they have on your body. And I invite you to examine your subconscious, Just choose one unwanted feeling and work with that one unwanted feeling that's kind of recurring. Notice if you veer into that unwanted feeling time and again, and decide you're going to work with that feeling and the state of mind that goes with it, and tell the truth about it, and ultimately give it over to Spirit and invite change. Invite a new belief and a new feeling that's not angry, that doesn't feel inadequate, that's not fearful, that isn't anxious. So I celebrate all of us. I celebrate this community and every one of you and the consciousness that you are growing and awakening in. I know we are powerful individuals. I know that we can, every one of us, direct ourselves into perfect wellness and health through our high frequency thoughts, our energy of love, our energy of forgiveness, our energy of compassion, and our beliefs. May we use this God-given power to bring happiness and well-being to ourselves and to all beings everywhere. May it be so, and so it is. Thank you.